I'm Jeremy Loffredo for Rebel News in Birmingham, Pennsylvania at Miller's Organic Farm. Last month we told you the story of how Miller's Farm was raided by armed federal agents and economically crippled with hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. Now, as the seasons change, Miller's Farm is going toe-to-toe with the federal government to protect himself and independent farmers all over the country.
My goal is to leave an example for the generations to come, so the future generations can farm like our grandfathers did, the way God wants us to be, sustainable, without genetically modified seeds, without synthetic fertilizers. We just want to live off the land and take care of God's nature.
Amos Miller is an independent organic farmer in Birmingham, a remote Amish village in central Pennsylvania. The farm has everything: pasture-raised, grass-fed cattle to grass-fed raw dairy like yogurts, cheeses, and butters. The farm raises chickens, pigs, and even water buffalo. Everything is raised in pastures, without any pesticides, GMO feed, or synthetic hormones. It's these reasons, holistically grown organic meat and dairy, that people all over the country signed up to be a part of Miller's private food club.
I think they want to have the connection to the farm, and they see the actual practices being done on the farm, and they trust the way we do things. They educate themselves, and they truly believe that food from grass-fed cows, access to sunshine and fresh air does affect their overall health.
But unfortunately, this is also the reason that the federal government and all of its might is coming after him. Several months ago, Amos's farm was raided by armed federal agents, the U.S. Marshal Service. They're also trying to economically cripple the independent farmer with hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. The government says that Amos must cease operations because he doesn't adhere to the USDA standards, the very reason that so many of Amos's customers get their food from him. Amos argues that U.S. government food regulations exist chiefly to strip small organic producers of their independence. They're also financially intensive, making it so only the large producers are able to afford and stay in business. By cutting the government out of his operations, he's effectively cutting out the middleman. The government siphons money out of these small farms through expensive, quote, user fees. The government is using a health and safety justification to come after Miller's farm. According to U.S. Representative Thomas Massie, it's instead corrupt financial incentives that are behind it. He explained correctly that Amos is still able to sell camel milk and water buffalo meat. Why? He said because there's no corporate camel milk lobby or industrial buffalo meat lobby embedded at the USDA or walking the halls of Congress with campaign checks. Meaning, even though he processes all sorts of animal meat and dairy at the farm, the USDA is only concerned about the way in which he raises and processes cattle, because they're funded by the animal-specific industry. More so, Amos and his customers argue that the USDA mandates food be processed and produced in ways that actually make the food less nutritious. Amos believes if they can bring down his operation under dubious reasoning and harmful regulations, other farmers will be next, putting the entire food system at stake of being transformed in the vision of the industry-backed government and WEF-aligned elites. Amos noted that over the past few years, more and more valuable independent farmers have been getting shut down by the government. Legally representing Amos is constitutional whiz and veteran lawyer Robert Barnes. Barnes explained to the Lancaster Patriot, a local newspaper in Amos's area, that, quote, "This is about power. Who has the power to choose what I eat, what I put into my own body? It's an extension of the vaccine mandate dispute. It's an extension of a range of controversies currently raging across the country about the Constitution and our laws and the role of the federal government in our lives." Next week, Rebel is going to sit down with Robert Barnes for an exclusive interview and discuss what this case means for independent farmers, food sovereignty, bodily autonomy, and freedom in general. Please go to leavethemalone.com, that's leavethemalone.com, and sign our petition, which I'll be personally delivering to the federal court where Amos's case resides. For Rebel News in Birmingham, Pennsylvania, I'm Jeremy Loffredo.